Hello students, welcome to this video tutorial on how to draw a mini car, part 4. Now we're going to work on the lights, the bumpers, and the trunk. So let's orbit around to the front of the car. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay? Okay, so let's click on the pencil tool. Let's position the pencil in this top left-hand corner where it says endpoint. I don't want you to click the mouse though. I want you to just move your pencil down this line until we get to the midpoint. Then I want you to click and draw a line across the front of your car to the other midpoint and then click to finish. Now I want you to position your pencil again in the top left-hand corner, and I want you to move your mouse down this line to the right, to the center of the car, until it says midpoint. Click and draw down to the opposite midpoint. Now, let's start your pencil in the top left-hand corner again, and trace along the top line until it says midpoint. Click and draw down. Let's do the same from this corner. Let's start in the top right-hand corner. Don't click. Move your mouse along that line at the top. Click once and then draw down. Let's start in the top left-hand corner again. Trace this line until you get to the midpoint and then draw a line all the way down. And let's do the same in the top right-hand corner. Position your mouse so that you find the midpoint and draw all the way down. Okay, so all these lines we've drawn on the front, they are actually not part of the car. What it does is it creates a grid pattern so that when we create the things on the front of the car, it will look evenly spaced. Okay, so let's draw the headlight. So let's click on the circle tool, and what I want you to do is I want you to position the center of the circle on this at this plus sign here where these two lines intersect. I want you to click once where it says endpoint, start pulling outwards and type in 10 cm, 10 centimeters, and hit enter. Now let's do the same thing for the other headlight. Let's position the center of my circle at this point where it says endpoint. Click once, start pulling outwards, and type in 10 centimeters and hit enter. So I've got my two headlights. Okay. Next, let's draw the front bumper. So let's click on the pencil tool. And let's start from the bottom edge of the car in this corner. And I'm just going to move up to maybe where it says midpoint again. So I started in this corner and I'm going to move up to where it says midpoint. I'm going to click once and I'm going to draw a line all the way across here to midpoint. Okay? All right. Let's click on the rectangle tool. And what I want you to do is I want you to start at this point right here where it says endpoint. I want you to click and pull out a rectangle to this line here, but slightly above this line here. So this is where I want it, right there. So I drew a rectangle from this corner to here. All right, I want to introduce you to a new tool now. It's called the arc tool. So do you see where I am up here? The arc tool. So let's click on the arc tool, and this is how it works. You're going to start at this endpoint. You're going to click once, and then you're going to go to this endpoint here. You're going to click a second time, and then I want you to pull up this arc, and when you've pulled it up as high as you want, you're going to click a third time. So let me demonstrate that again. We've got the arc tool. I'm going to start in this corner, I'm going to click once. I'm going to go all the way across. I'm going to click a second time on this endpoint. And then I'm going to pull my mouse upwards. So I pull that arc. And when I've got the right arc, I'm going to click a third time. Okay? So everything looks very confusing here. But in a very short time, it's going to be very clear of what we've done. All right, the last thing we want to do on the front is create a license plate. So let's click on the rectangle tool and let's create a license plate on the front bumper right there. Okay, now we haven't saved in a while, so let's go to File, Save. Okay, so now we're going to use the eraser tool and get rid of all of these guiding lines. So let's click on the eraser tool. Now you got to follow, you got to do every step with me. So make sure you're pressing pause after every line. Okay, so the first line we want to get rid of is this line. And then we want to get rid of this line on the opposite side. Okay. Now let's get rid of the lines inside the headlights. So let's get rid of this line, this line, this line, and this line. Now let's go to the opposite side, inside the opposite headlight, and click on this line, this line, this line, and this line. So now that makes the headlights a lot more clear. But there's still a lot of lines in here that don't need to be here. All right, next, let's click on this line. Let's click on this line. And then this line. Okay, now we see the top of the front grille, don't we? Okay, let's get rid of this line. Let's get rid of this entire vertical middle line here. Now there's a tiny line in here, so if you need to zoom in so you can click on it, then zoom in. Let's see if I can get it without zooming. I got it. Okay. Now let's get rid of this vertical line here. And here. And here. And here. We're almost done. Now let's get rid of this horizontal line here. Here, 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 and here. There we go. Okay. Actually, we should probably get rid of this line right here and this line so that we have the bumper going all the way across. Kind of looks like a Jeep from the front, doesn't it? Now, if you're looking at this grill saying, okay, well, Mr. Ueda, I can add some details here then. With your pencil, draw the grills in right here. Look at how nice this is going to look, how realistic it's going to look. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's save. So let's create some details on the back. So let's go use the orbit tool, turn around, and let's go to the back. Now I'm going to position it so that the girl is not in my way. Okay? So let's create a similar grid pattern on the back. So let's click on the pencil tool. I'm going to start in the top left-hand corner, and I'm just going to trace along. I'm going to follow with my mouse down this line until it says midpoint. So let's click on midpoint and go all the way across to the opposite midpoint. Now let's start in the top left-hand corner and let's trace along the top edge of the trunk until we get to midpoint. And let's click on midpoint and go all the way down. Okay? So we've cut the back into 4 nice sections. That's really going to help with things like the license plate. So let's create the license plate first. Let's click on the rectangle and let's create the license plate quite low. Okay, and make sure it's centered so that we have an equal distance from this line to this line and from this line to this line. Now, let's draw the back bumper. So let's go to about here, maybe to midpoint, and I'll draw the bumper. Oh, sorry, I forgot to change tools. Here's where I can show you edit, undo. I'm going to click back on the pencil tool, and I'm going to go from the midpoint all the way across. So there's my back bumper. Okay, so let's create some lights, some back lights. So let's click on the rectangle tool, and let's create a rectangle that looks something like this. That. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to create the same rectangle on this side. Like that. Okay. So let's divide this light into 3 smaller lights. So let's go to midpoint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the top left-hand corner, go across to the middle, go to midpoint, and then go down. And then I'm going to start, oops, let's try that again. There we go. Oh, I'm on the wrong tool again. I apologize. Undo rectangle. Let's switch back to the pencil tool. All right, let's go back and find the midpoint and draw a line down. And then I want to start in the top left-hand corner and find the midpoint here and draw a line down. So I've got 2 smaller lights and a bigger light here. Let's do the same for this light. Let's start in the top right-hand corner and let's find the midpoint of that line and then draw a line straight down. And then I'm going to start in the top right-hand corner again and find the midpoint and draw a line straight down. Okay? So now let's draw the line for the trunk. Actually, you know what? This line here could be the line for the trunk, couldn't it? Okay, let's use that line then. Okay, let's click on the eraser tool. Let's click on the eraser tool and let's get rid of the center line. Let's get rid of this center line, this center line, this center line, and there's one more center line. I'm going to have to zoom in because I'm way too far away. I'm not going to be able to click on it. See how far I had to zoom in? And then now I can click on this center line here. Okay, now I'll zoom out so I can see the whole back of the car. Okay, so back to the eraser tool. Now we've decided that we're going to keep this line for the trunk, but I have to get rid of that line inside the lights because I want to paint inside the lights. But I'm not going to erase this because this is still the edge of the trunk. And then let me get rid of this line here, this line, and this line. But I don't want to erase this line. I want to keep it. Okay. So let's have a look at what we've done. We've created backlights, the back trunk, the back bumper, and the license plate. And the front, headlights, the grille, the bumper, and the license plate. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. And let's save. Go to File, Save. And this concludes this video tutorial, part 4 on the mini car. Thanks for watching. Bye.